wonder murmur where whispers weave the heart.
Hello, little hearts. A new whisper begins. In a sun-drenched jungle, where the air was thick with the scent of wild blossoms and the hum of 1,000 insects, there lived a clever but very lazy spider named Anansi. All day long, Anansi would sit in his hammock, his 8 legs swaying gently in the breeze, watching the other animals work. His eyes, tiny black beads of mischief, always seemed to be searching for a shortcut. One morning, his eyes fell upon Goat, who was tending to his garden with great care. The plants were lush and green, but what truly caught Anansi's attention were the melons. They were as round and as sweet as the summer moon, and Anansi's stomach rumbled with a fierce hunger. But he was too lazy to grow his own. Oh, to be a clever spider with no need for a garden, Anansi thought to himself, a wicked grin spreading across his face. He waited until Goat left for a drink of water, then dropped silently to the ground. He found the biggest, most perfect melon, and with a sharp thorn, he carved a small hole in its side. He squeezed his body through the hole and began to eat, and eat, and eat. He ate until his belly was so round and full he could hardly move. "Oh my," he sighed, rubbing his bulging stomach. "I must go. Goat will be back soon." He tried to wiggle out of the hole, but he was stuck. He pushed and pulled, but it was no use. The hole was too small. Anansi began to panic. "I'm trapped. I'm a prisoner of my own greed." Just then, he heard footsteps approaching. It was Goat, humming a happy tune. Anansi's mind, always quick, had a thought. He decided to play a trick. Goat picked up the melon, his eyes shining with pride. "What a wonderful melon," he said. "I should share this with my friends." Just as he was about to put it in his basket, Anansi let out a little squeak. "Ouch!" Goat froze. "Who said that?" he cried, looking all around the garden. "It was me," a voice replied. "The melon." Goat blinked, his jaw dropping open. The melon? Melons can't talk." "Yes, we can," the voice said with a confident little shake. "We just choose not to. But you sound so surprised. I had to speak." Goat's eyes grew as wide as saucers. He was so stunned he forgot to put the melon in his basket. He cradled it like a precious treasure. "This is incredible," he whispered. "I must show the queen." He hurried toward the palace, holding the melon with the utmost care. Along the way, he met a rattlesnake. "Where are you going in such a hurry, Goat?" Rattlesnake called. "I'm taking this melon to the queen," Goat said proudly. "It's the most wonderful melon in the world. It can talk." Rattlesnake's rattle shook with laughter. "That's ridiculous! Talking melons? As silly as a kind rattlesnake." "You're right," the voice from the melon chirped. "As silly as a kind rattlesnake?" Rattlesnake's laughter stopped. He stared at the melon, then at Goat, then back at the melon. His face turned a deep shade of red. "Who said that?" he hissed. "I told you, this melon talks," Goat said, bursting with pride. "Amazing," Rattlesnake whispered, now a believer. "I will go with you." As they walked, more and more animals heard the melon speak. A wise old owl, a clumsy bear, and a flock of colorful parrots joined the procession, all eager to see the queen's reaction. By the time they reached the palace, a whole crowd of animals was following them. Goat bowed low before the magnificent queen, a beautiful but stern figure. "Your Majesty," he said, holding up the melon. "I have brought you a truly unique gift. A melon that can speak." The queen, her royal chin held high, looked down her nose at the melon. "I have plenty of melons, goat. I do not need a new one." "But this one talks," Goat insisted. The queen stepped closer, a skeptical look in her eyes. "Speak, Melon," she ordered. Anansi, inside, knew he was in a very dangerous position. The queen was not to be trifled with. If he spoke, she might get angry. If he didn't, she might get angry. His heart hammered in his chest. He stayed perfectly silent. "Melon, I order you to speak," the queen commanded, her voice growing louder. The melon remained quiet. The crowd of animals started to murmur. "What a silly melon!" The queen finally snapped, a cruel laugh on her lips. "Silly?" The voice from inside the melon suddenly retorted, bold and clear. "You're the one talking to a melon." The queen's face turned as red as a tomato. She had been publicly humiliated in front of her subjects. Her vanity was wounded and she was furious. "How dare you!" she roared. She snatched the melon from Goat's hands and with all her royal might, flung it as far as she could. The melon soared through the air and landed with a loud crash in Goat's garden, shattering into 1,000 pieces. Anansi, a little shaken but now free, crawled out from the mess. "I'm thin again," he said, with a relieved sigh. He looked at the shattered melon, a feeling of sadness washing over him. His delicious meal was gone. He had tricked everyone, but he had nothing to show for it. He scurried up a nearby banana tree, still hungry. He heard Goat returning to the garden, a look of disappointment on his face. He saw the shattered melon. "I'm never listening to a talking melon again," Goat sighed. "Good idea," a tiny voice called from the banana tree. "Talking melons always bring trouble." Goat's eyes widened, but this time he didn't say a word. He just shook his head and got back to work. And Anas, sitting in his banana tree, had time to think. He had gotten what he wanted, but in the end, his laziness had left him hungry, and his deception had left him with no friends.
Wonder murmur, the story departs, yet the whisper imparts.